All right. This is Acer of Spades, Team TSE State 268. We are number one, coming to you with an incredibly important, very informative video on combat hero placement. This is going to be my basic combat heroes. I mean the basic gold heroes that you can get throughout the game. Nothing to do with S1 and S2 and S3 and S4 heroes, guys. There's a lot more to it, but this is going to teach everyone who's base level 22 or lower how their placement needs to be and exactly why. This is going to be considered a very in-depth guide. So it might be a little lengthy, but if you listen to everything in the video without wasting any time, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. So first things first, guys, to get to where I am, I just hit the hero button on the bottom right here. This is going to let you know that we have combat heroes and we have development heroes. Today's video is based on only combat heroes and everything you need to know about them. Since the update, you're going to notice that they've enhanced a lot of the pictures. This is the first tab that you'll reach at the top left. That's how you level up your hero. You can use Hero EXP to do that. And if you just swipe over, it will change hero for you. Something like a Tinder kind of app. I've never used that, but you get where I'm going with that. Anyway, if you click the second tab though, it will break down all the skills, and this is exactly where I want to focus today. Now on the base heroes, all of them are just about the same. You're going to break down into a couple types of skills on these heroes, one of which is a leadership type skill. The other, which is right next to it, is a combat skill. You will notice right away that the first four skills pretty much do the same exact things. You're going to have a couple leadership skills along with one combat skill, and what they'll do is determine exactly what that squad is capable of doing. This particular dictatorship skill, which most have, will increase the amount of troops that your APC can carry. Next is their basic move, followed by one for resistance and one for might. Most of which are very self-explanatory. As you increase resistance and might, your defense and offense skills actually increase. As you increase your troop amount, you carry more soldiers. However, the combat skill is what people get mixed up on the most, so we're going to break this down in this in-depth guide so that everybody understands. First thing that you need to look at in the second line after the type is the effective range. This one says 3. Now I pulled up this APC to simply show you Warhound's placement and why things are placed the way that they are. Warhound is in the first position. Understand that the effective range that they're referring to are the positions ahead of that character, meaning from Warhound's position, he could hit any of the 3 rows that have to do with the enemy squad in front of him. And apparently, according to his skill that we were just popping up on his first one, according to his skill, he can only target one of those squads in that range. So again, your target is based on the effective range. As you read through, you're going to notice that some of the skills have debuff abilities in them, and others will have enhancement abilities for your team, but none of that has to do with the placement, and that's what we're going to focus on today. The one that best determines how something should be placed outside of the requirement and the effect range and the target is the 7th skill. The 7th skill will tell you, for Warhound specifically, that he adds additional 30% resistance when maxed out. If you look back at my APC, just for this video, I've done this, mind you. If I click on Destroyer, his 7th skill has a formation has 15% additional HP. Typically, the first troop is the one that gets hit most often, so I always highly suggest that you use a particular hero in the first slot that has very, very low range, like 3 or 2, or in some cases 1, as well as a 7th skill that adds resistance. This way, that first particular slot gets a lot less damage done to them, and those troops last the longest. I then recommend that if you can, not necessarily Destroyer in this particular case, but if you can get someone that gives you additional HP. Now, if you noticed before when I had Warhound up, his first skill, his first combat skill, has an effective range of 3, and Warhound's second combat skill had an effective range of 2. However, Forsaken's first has an effective range of 2, and his second has an effective range of 3. That means they are just about exact same. However, based on the information I just told you guys, if you had Forsaken in the same APC with Warhound, You would have Warhound first because he will add additional resistance with his second skill. And like I used as Destroyer in a particular example, Harden is Forsaken's 7th skill, and that will give you that HP the same as Destroyer. So for those reasons, it's highly recommended that you put Warhound first for the defense buff and tank, and HP second, so that those units last just as long but get hit less. Okay, so underneath your type, effective range that we talked about, and your target that we talked about, you have what's called a requirement. In order to use these skills, you have specific requirements that have to be met. So this is incredibly important as well, as it needs to be paid attention to. If you are referring to Shoot a Man, it's very easy. The only requirement he has is to be leading any type of troops at all. However, that is not always the case. If I go ahead and swipe over to the right here, it looks like Militant will be the next hero that's in my line here. And his particular requirement on his combat skill says that he has to be leading fighters. This is crucial to understand because that means not only do you have to pay attention to his range and his target, which basically suggests that he should be a first position hero because he has a low effective range, but more importantly, he will be useless if he's leading any other troop other than fighters. Next, I set up my second APC in the wrong way very specifically so that I can show each and every one of you why it is wrong and how it is wrong. Shoot a Man, as we talked about in the lessons that we just learned, and we'll click into them real quick, all of his combat skills have a long effective range. That one was 4, this one was 5, and then this one is also 5. That means if he is in the 3rd position, which is currently being held by Forsaken One, he will be able to hit all of the target units all the time. So having him up in top position at any time in any APC is absolutely incorrect. We just talked about Militant. He's in the 2nd position, but what you'll notice is that he can only target 2 and/or 2 additional people here, and he then has an effective range 4 for the last. Hypothetically, he can be in 2nd position, but I highly recommend that he is in the 1st position, and the reason for that is always based on that 7th skill, which gives you resistance, and we just talked about that resistance. He is interchangeable up until you focus on the 7th skill, which will give him additional resistance, making him an incredible tank. And then lastly, you have Forsaken. Now in the 3rd position, what that will mean is if you look at his particular skills, he only has an effective range of 2. So we're going to go back and understand that there's 2 positions ahead of him that he is able to hit, which means Forsaken could hit Militant's troops and Shoot a Man's troops, but since they're friendly and there's no friendly fire in this game, he will literally hit nothing. So what I've done is I've compiled this exact APC hitting a zombie, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like right now. In case you guys didn't know, if you hit your envelope and you look at zombie attack report, you can look at all the videos of any battle report or attack report as they actually occur so that you can see exactly what happened. I'm going to go here, and at the top right, you're going to see battle continued for 3 rounds, and if I hit the little play button, it will actually play the battle. Now I'm going to speed this up just a little bit for you guys to see. You'll see that my 2nd row attacked. You're going to see, of course, Spray and Pray went ahead and attacked everything, but if Shoot a Man was at the bottom, it would have done the same thing either way. Then the vehicles attack. And then moving forward, you're going to immediately see the opponents get their opportunity. Those vehicles attack, but if you notice, nothing was triggered when it came down to Forsaken's turn. Now, hopefully, we'll get some action from one of our heroes because all of it is random, okay? You don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, he decided to show off a little bit this time and go back to back with his Spray and Pray. But what we're going to notice right away is what happens next. Militant does absolutely nothing, and then when he tries to do it, it says skill out of range, which means Forsaken did absolutely nothing, and it's for all the reasons we just talked about. He is absolutely in the wrong position. After the video, it will show you that even though this was a level 13 mutated zombie, I had 279 units wounded, and to be very fair, if I had my placement correctly, I could probably get away with 0 wounded on a level 13 zombie, and it will be based on that hero placement that makes all the difference. Obviously, these differences can occur greater when you are facing another actual opponent, and those placements mean everything. So back to that second APC, so that I can correct this, it's a very simple formula. We know that the 7th skill of Militant is that defense resistance. We're going to put him up here. We also know that Shoot a Man is going to hit everybody because it's 4 and 5 range, so we're going to put him down here. And we already know that Forsaken's 7th ability is HP, so he's perfect in the middle, even though him and Militant have almost the same skill range and effect. It is the 7th skill that makes all the difference. But don't forget, there was one more important thing that everyone needs to take into consideration, and that is the requirements. This APC is perfect, but it's not perfect for vehicles. I have this lined up with juicers to make sure that everything was wrong so everybody can see me correct this. What I would immediately want to do is go ahead and change this, because Shoot a Man can use any type of troop for his requirement. Forsaken has no requirement necessity as well, and I can go ahead and put my gladiators for Militant, and all his skills will now activate, and every single one of these troops have been optimized, and you'll notice the attack power increased dramatically. Here's another incredible example of what a great APC would look like, and we're going to go through these heroes real quick so you can understand, because I do like using my juicers. And when it comes to Warhound, Warhound is very specifically good for any type of troop. Okay, so it doesn't matter what he's doing, but don't forget, he has that tank resistance, so I want him up at the front. Now, another example is Razor. Razor is very specific that his requirement is vehicles. So this APC, or any APC that he's in, needs to have vehicles only. Vehicles only for another reason. We're going to get to that in just a second, but that's what makes Razor incredible. And then, just like Shoot a Man, is my good friend Dawn Guardian. Except not only that, he gives additional might on his 7th skill, which makes his entire troop a lot stronger than some of the other troops. And even more importantly, all his ranges. He's the only hero that in the base set of heroes that are like this, all of his range is 5. He will hit any unit from that 3rd position. If he is ever higher than the 3rd position, he is wrong. Now, these two complement each other incredible, because like I said, you're going to have Razor on his 7th skill giving you additional might, and you're going to have Warhound on his 7th skill giving additional defense, and then you're going to have an incredible Dawn Guardian in the background locking everything down and making it happen. That's what makes this APC setup the way it should be. And let's talk about a couple quick side notes, because that's just about it. Each and every single one of these heroes has a story, and the one that is most talked about is Reaper's story. If you look towards the bottom, it says, side note, never mention dogs in front of the Reaper. He doesn't like them or anyone that hangs near them. Our good friend Adande, the Warhound. Who let the dogs out? Me, Adande. He is a huge fan of dogs. He even has a hound in his picture. And it is stated and said that if Warhound were in the same APC as Reaper, there would be a debuff. Reaper is an excellent 2nd or 1st place representative in an APC, but if I were to change Razor out for Reaper, you better believe both of them will use less skills and be a lot less effective in battle. So quick side note, never put Warhound or Reaper in the same APC ever. Now guys, at some point I'll go ahead and make a part 2 to this video to help you guys further understand things as far as buff and debuff skills. So I'll break that down even further. Guys, reading at that point will definitely help out a whole lot. So if you go ahead and do a little research into your heroes, you will learn a lot. And we'll also make a different video in regards to development heroes, how to properly station them, why, and what it takes to do that, guys. Please like and subscribe. Leave any comments that you possibly can. If I somehow missed anything, even though I feel like this is one of the most in-depth and complete videos I could have made on this subject, please write it in the comments. I'm not perfect. I'm just learning like everyone else, and I'm spreading all my knowledge to you in your state and my state, of course. Guys, otherwise, like and subscribe. I want to just say a few things. Thank you so much, Opto, for doing everything that he does with his videos. He's an incredible gamer as well, guys. So please look up Opto when you're done with my videos. But also, guys, here I am, Triple Hogs Gaming, giving you the same great content that I always do. And shout outs to, again, my daughter Destiny for that wonderful intro that comes up every time. She made it for me. Guys, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.